And those who still, the sapiens who still continue to use their hands for more useful and creative purposes, do not manipulate. So the problem lies when we walk on our feet and we start using our hands, not for the purposes of movement. And this movement would also include progress. It's a very emotive debate to talk in terms of intergenerational equities, to talk in terms of sustained development. It's a problem. Statistics itself has problems. It was highlighted by the teams that countries which have grown, their bases have become large, their percentage cut in terms of percentage, if it is to be measured, may look fairly insignificant, but in real terms it would be much more. But somewhere you have to decide for yourself, and it comes in the moment of every person's life, it comes in the moment, the life of every nation. And for the first time it has come in the life of the global world as a whole, where the moment to decide has to come, that are you going to take the decisions when the last river would be polluted, the last fish would be eaten, and the last tree would be chopped. Is that when you're going to decide that what is the cost which you have to bear for the burden of two things? As the developed countries would say, to the developing countries, you share the burden. And they say that we share the burden of our need, but we are not there to share the burden of your greed. And it is this which I think the emerging nations, the emerging economies could not really bring home this point even at the Kyoto Protocols when they were signed, even at the Copenhagen Summit, that somewhere you have to draw a line of demarcation and say that up to this level I accept your need, but above this it crosses need, it enters into areas of greed, and this is what would be non-negotiable. What we forgot to really understand, and if you see what happened at the Copenhagen, it can be traced to when the Western countries threw lollipops at the developing nations and the TRIPS agreements were signed, when the general agreements on trade and tariffs were signed. And as you would have all studied as students of economics and business laws, that everybody was made to be TRIPS compliant. All of our IPR regimes became TRIPS compliant. And see, this has happened over the last 10 years. What have we got and what have we lost? We got nothing. We've lost virtually everything. Today our gene banks are stolen. Today your rights in terms of your cultural heritage, which these countries, which were very rich in their cultural heritage. Look at the United States of America. And somebody says to me, you travel quite a bit, why haven't you gone to USA? I say, what's there to see in the United States of America? It's a country without any culture, it's a country without any history. It just goes back. You don't go there to see skyscrapers. You land up there to see something else. So you see, what had happened was that the developing countries, when they went to Copenhagen, they had the very bitter experience of the globalization of the economy. They were all compelled to sign these TRIPS laws. We amended all our IPR laws, trademarks, patents, copyrights. And what have we got in return? It was this concern actually which was taken over there. And I think the developing countries did take their concern, and rightly so, on a very with a moral content to what they were saying. That are you going to speak in the language that this earth belongs to us and we have a right to exploit it, and we will sit down and decide the terms on which the exploitation of the earth would take place, vis-a-vis something which is very subtle. And they said, you call it Mother Earth. Is it right to say that the Mother Earth belongs to us? Or should we put the question that we belong to Mother Earth? It doesn't belong to us, we belong to her. And it is this which is kept in the center focus. And then you'll find that the answers start emerging out. It's not a political debate, let's understand. We try to give political colorations to everything, it is not. See, even at the national level, say a dam is to be created, and then, or say a canal has to be made, and the land has to be acquired, and somebody has to be displaced from his land. So he thinks locally, and rightly so. He talks in terms of that, look, this is where I've lived. This is the tree where the soul of my ancestors, so do I believe, lived. And this is the place where I say the butterflies play. And this is the place where I ran in the fields chasing the butterflies and the birds.